Greetings, alumni. Welcome back to Romance University, the Professor's Lounge. My name is Benjamin Ayres. You're the alumni, and welcome back. How are you doing? Is everybody doing well? We're at the end of the week. It's been another great week. Um, yeah, I missed you. I feel like I haven't seen you in ever. Now, I got some good questions here. Um, but sometimes they're just a quick one. And this is one I just want to answer because I really appreciated this. This comes from Nicole, and she said, what do you do to relax between takes or different setups and stuff like that? And really, that's kind of when you get to know your castmates, maybe some of the crew. But that's kind of when you're hanging out, chatting, maybe playing some games, um, and on your phone, maybe a little social media, just checking in, phone calls with the agent because your trailer's not big enough or the food wasn't as expected. Um, Now, catching up with mom, doing that kind of stuff. See your kids, do a little FaceTime. But then if we're lucky, there'll be enough time, and there is time on set. Maybe you'll get a chance to read one of your favorite books, or just kind of catch up on some reading material. And I was asked, a few people had asked, what's my favorite book? Favorite's hard, but one of my favorite books is 100 Years of Solitude, and I suggest you watch the adaptation that has been made into a Netflix series that is currently on Netflix. It is a Colombian television series. It's a magical realism, beautiful television series that spans over 100 years, and it might be one of the best things I've seen in a very long time. Cinematically, storytelling, it's big, it's beautiful, it's magical, and yeah, watch it in the original watch it in its original form and just with English subtitles. Anyway, there's that. Thank you for that question, Nicole. I appreciate that. This one comes from Brenda Sue. Brenda Sue says, how does scene continuity work? I mean, it's clear in a scene shot from different angles that body positions, gestures, even wardrobe must be consistent. I mean, how are those tracked? Is it up to the actors to remember those details, or is it someone else's job? Occasionally, there are glaring inconsistencies, and I just wonder how the whole process works in order to avoid them. Really enjoying your Q&A session, so thank you, Ben. Thank you, Brenda Sue. That's a really good question. Now, is it our job? No. Is it our responsibility? Yes. What do I mean by that? As you know, we have 15 days to shoot these movies. There's not a lot of rehearsal process. Sometimes there's no rehearsal at all. So you're going to walk into a scene. It's going to be 4 pages long. And so 4-page scene, yes, you're going to block it out. You're going to move the actors around the space in a way that is most efficient for the shooting schedule and in a way that's going to look great on camera. So while you're doing that rehearsal, blocking, that will then be, for your crew to understand where they're going to put the lights, the cinematographer to figure out where the lights are going to go, which angles he's going to shoot it at, she's going to shoot it at. And as an actor, it's your chance to walk around and figure out if there are any props that you want to use, how you're going to use them, when you lean on a chair. These are very big moments, because if you decide to put your hands on a chair and then you don't do that again later, yes, it is not going to cut properly. So when you don't have a lot of time to rehearse, that's usually when I find you will accidentally do something that you did not plan to do. You have a coffee cup, you're eating food, you're doing something, and you're just in the scene doing it. You're like, I'm just trying to be natural. And then the person whose job it is the script supervisor, who sits behind the monitor and observes everything that's happening in the frame. So after that first take, maybe it's a master shot of the whole space before they come into the close-ups. When they come into the close-ups, your script supervisor will come up and say, on that line, you took a bite. On that line, you then took a sip of the coffee. On that line, and then you have to go, oh, why did I do that? I don't even remember doing that. And because they're now going to use that master shot, you have to replicate all of those moments. So you have to be aware before you start a scene, especially if you're eating or drinking, how often you want to be doing it. Don't do it just to look and act natural, because now you're going to be tied into eating on lines that might be really important, but now it just looks like you're kind of throwing those lines away if you're just eating through them. So that's why you'll find actors are normally sort of sitting at the table and never really putting anything in their mouth, or they're just kind of going, it's as if they've just finished. Because also, once there's something in your mouth, you don't want to see somebody talking with food in their mouth. And the same goes with drinking. You have to be careful when you take that sip, because if you're taking your sip and then somebody talks to you, you have to go, I'm thinking the same thing. Like it just takes away from the moment. So the moment is more important than the thing you're doing. And that also comes back to another question somebody had about why is it the coffee cups are always empty? They're not always empty. Yes, some of them are. A couple of people asked, why is it that you drink the coffee right after you get it? I don't know how you drink your coffee. Personally, if I'm at Starbucks or any place and I get my coffee, the first thing I do is take a sip. I like hot coffee. Maybe some people don't. But it's part of it's like a date, right? You're going out, you're getting a coffee. Every movie's different. I totally understand. I can't stand it either when the cups look empty. Somebody walks in with the tray and they've got four and they're like, hey, and they're just talking like this. Four is kind of heavy. So it's the same that goes with a backpack or any type of luggage. You're like, we've just flown in, we're going to be here for a week, and the luggage is really light. You're like, that's a heavy, put something in it. And then there's nothing worse than acting like it's heavy or acting like there's something in it. So you just put stuff in it. It's books, random stuff. You just put water in your cup, or sometimes, usually, I'll just ask for decaf or coffee, actual caffeinated, depending on the time of day. But if it's me, I put coffee in it. But there were people that even commented on the fact on the Santa class that my hot chocolate, the levels were kind of going up and down. Now, that was shot over 3 different days. So there's me getting into the car, there's us finding Santa on the side of the road, there's us then out in the forest. So, you're racing against the clock and you've got snow falling and you've got all these things. So to make sure that just that little bit of coffee, and that's what's hard, is there's so many other elements. And as an audience member, I do it too. You're like, oh, did you notice it dropped a bit, now it's back up? And those are the things we notice. Meanwhile, all of the efforts being put in everywhere else um, are cumbersome, and it just take a long time. There's a lot of effort put into it. So I get it. Continuity is very difficult. But yeah, you always have to. What I tend to do is if it's a big blocking rehearsal, you do that, and then I walk away and I just kind of continue to run through it in my mind to here, and I can kind of lean on this, and this might be that moment, this might be that. And if you're lucky, if you're on what's called a steady cam, then it might just be what's called a one shot. And if it's not going to be edited, you can do whatever you want every time. For example, when we shot Miracle in Bethlehem, Jeff Beasley he cross shoots, which means that the second action is called you're both on camera in the scene at the same time. He doesn't edit outside of the scenes that are taking place, so it allows you to improvise within the scene. But yeah, if you're watching this and you've never experienced acting, you've never been on a set, I'm telling you, it's very complicated, and it's easy at home to watch and feel moved and be like, I could do this. The reason you're being moved is because it's one continuous story with beautiful music and camera that's pushing in. If you're on the other side of it, imagine being in front of 100 people that you don't know. It's hot or it's cold, it's uncomfortable, you're hungry, you've been waiting for a long time, and then you have to come out and deliver a very emotional or performance like that. And all the pressure that's there for all of these people have come for your moment. The cameras are set up, the lights are there, we've got this location, but we've only got the location for another 20 minutes. And you got a boom guy who's just looking at you right like this, and there's a camera operator right here, and you're looking at your partner, but behind your partner is this world of, there might be another crew guy who's on his phone. You can't get distracted, and at the end of the day, all you need to do is connect with the actor who's right in front of you. I surprised myself, actually, how much I can just ramble on. So I hope that wasn't too much of a rambling. Thank you so much. Comment below, like, subscribe, do all those things. Continue to send your questions. I love answering them. Thank you so much. Class is dismissed.